Okay. So welcome to week 4 of, or part 4 of the Gold Mage Human Constellation. And we're going to bring 5 of you in all at once. So what I'd like to do is, if you feel called to so we're going to be bringing 5 of you in. So if you feel called to number 1, just put your video on. And I think Sara, for now, I'm gonna have you not come in given you have to hop off in about a half hour. Unless you feel really strongly pulled, and then I'll just trust that. So trust yourself too in that. Okay, so can we have a number 1? And if you already have a number that you're feeling super called to between 1 and 5, you can just come off and say that number. And unmute yourself as you come in.
Number 4, forever.
All right.
I'm free.
Hang on one sec. I'm just going to try to then put us, and bear with me as we figure out this new technology. Okay, so say again. So Feather Bear, I heard you are 4.
I'm 4.
Great. And Martha, what are you?
3.
3. And Emily?
Valerie.
Oh, Valerie, pardon me. 1.
1.
Okay. And Peapod. 5. Okay. And was a 2. I'm feeling called. All right, we can also begin with this, and could be we don't. Let's see. Okay, so for the sake of seeing what the field wants to bring through, we're going to take number 2 out for the moment, in which case I'm renumbering you a little bit. Valerie, you're gonna be 1. I'm gonna rename you here. Okay. So Valerie is 1. Martha is now 2. And Feather Bear, you are 3. Still the same thing that you're repping. You're repping what you were coming in as. We took 2 out, but anyway, you're that. And Peapod, you are 4. Okay, beautiful. Just a question for Hannah and Fleur. Are you open to repping if you feel called? Or do either of you have like a cutoff or a no that you're not going to be available?
I'm definitely up for repping. I just feel like I want to sit back and be really called.
Yeah, sounds good.
Rather than jumping in, because I'm very, very much wanting to be involved, but yeah, just gonna wait.
Sounds good. And Fleur, I'm assuming the same for you?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks, y'all. Okay, so putting yourselves back on mute. If you are in the field, you can stay off of mute. And if you are spotlighted, it's just to making sure that this recording is going to help stay on gallery view. And so yeah, dropping in. You all have done this before, so really, and if you are able to stand, it can help to bring you even more fully into the field. So if you haven't done that yet, I'd encourage you to try it. And if you're not feeling called at all to stand, you just trust yourself. Okay, I'm gonna start. Let's hear from Peapod.
Yes. I'm feeling giddy, like very, very childlike. I feel like there's some meadow or large field that I am in that I just want to run around and roll around in the grass and flowers. It's a beautiful, beautiful, clear, clear day. And yeah, there's a giddiness about all of this.
And are you able to stand and move your body, follow that thread?
I may disappear from camera view as I go explore, but yeah, something behind me.
And as much as you're able to stay in view, we can still see you. So that, just so you know, have that reference that we can see you even back there. What's happening for you now?
There's a questioning coming up. Like, what is back there? I'm not really sensing clearly, but I'm very drawn to it, whatever it is.
Go ahead and go back and see what's there for you. And I'm going to check in with the others. What's happening for one? And
Just a sense of kind of solidity. When I first stepped into the field, it feels like a pyramid. It's like my head's the pyramidion at the top, and it feels very dense. And I feel very aware of like the sort of vertical axis. And there's not a huge amount of information apart from that. Doesn't feel personal. There's no personality. Like rootedness.
Rootedness.
A sense of rootedness.
Great. Thank you for that.
Sorry?
So thank you for that.
Mm.
Are you aware of any of the others? Number one.
I can, when you said that, I felt something in the belly, and it feels slightly tuned in with two, like I'm slightly aware of two in the belly, as if two were in front of me at some distance. But that's all.
Thank you. And I'm gonna do two things now. Two, we're gonna check in with you in a moment. Four, it looks like there's a lot happening for you. I'd like to hear from you if you feel like you can wait. But if it's super active, I want to give you the floor to share before we check in with two. Yeah.
It's more exploration. When I went back to see what's there, there was an extreme power surge that came into me and shifted me from that childhood giddiness to more of an, I hate this word adult, but more of a more experienced individual that is containing that power that came into me. I also was trying to sense if I feel the others.
Okay.
And that's vague.
Okay. So when you were in the back, you had a surge of energy come through you.
Yes. Yeah, like heart downward, and it felt like it was sort of splitting open.
Okay. Thank you. Sara, I'm curious to see what happens if you would be willing to come in as 5, as long as you're able to be with us.
Yeah, I am gonna leave in a few minutes and switch to phone, but if you want me to come in, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Do you have about 20 minutes? Is that right? Are you leaving around 3-ish or?
I probably need to leave a little bit before 3, honestly.
All right. So let's have you come in for 5-10 minutes, whatever you're.
Okay, 5 and 5.
Okay, 5 and 5. So you can show your video. I'm gonna rename you.
Oh, God. I am 5.
Yeah. And just have you. I almost want to tell you what you are since you're only here so briefly.
Will you let me feel it for a minute and then
Yeah.
tell me?
Sure. Of course. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel really expansive. When I first stepped into the field, my awareness was drawn to the base of the spine and the back body, and it felt really, really warm, and it feels really, really warm as I'm talking about it. And then just settling into 5 just feels really light and expansive.
So what I'd like to ask you to do is imagine you're in the room with all the other reps here and see if and where you feel drawn, and or if there's any direction and just because you're only here briefly, I'm, like I said, tempted to, but go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, at first I noticed 3, and then I actually got really pulled into Hannah, even though she's not participating. But then I felt Martha, and when I tuned in,
Let's
3.
Sorry.
When I tuned into 3, I felt like a lot of energy.
3 as in feather bear.
Oh, 2.
2.
I was immediately drawn to 3. Then the more I just sensed into the field as a whole, I became drawn to 2, and then that felt really activating.
Activating or aggravating?
Activating.
And what does that activation feel like?
like I'm being pulled forward by my feet.
To 2.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm gonna tune back into the field as a whole again.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, I'm gonna check in with 2. What's happening for 2?
I feel like I can't move my feet. Like at first, it was like they were like had rods coming out of them, like right into the earth. And I just have no urge to move. Like I start thinking, maybe do I feel like moving? And like I can't, like I'm just here. And I don't feel anyone else in the room except for when 5 said that. I started laughing because of the feet, because it's like my feet are the only thing that are communicating with anything.
Okay, thank you. And we're gonna check in with 3. What's happening for 3?
I feel like crap. Tired. I don't like anybody. Felt a little more settled when 1 was speaking. Might have felt something when 5 came in, but I can't remember. Yeah, I did. No, I got like aggravated. Aggravated when 5 came in.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm just back to like, fuck everything, whatever.
Say that again.
Fuck everything, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck everything, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what happens for you when you look at 4? And 4, what about if you tune in?
It's hard to look at 4. My face kind of hurts. I can feel my face more, which I don't like. I feel scattered, and scattered is reassuring, and actually feeling my face, I can feel like the front of my torso too, and I don't feel comfortable.
Okay, I want to hear from 4 and 2. For 4.
Tuning into 3, I get the same apathy, the same whatever, but it doesn't have the heaviness that I sense coming from 3. Mine's like okay, fine. You seem to be good where you are, so stay where you are. I'll go over here, and I don't know where that is, essentially. Not really tuning into the other 3. A slight awareness.
Great, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
There is a little bit of wanting to like poke and prod 3 to help them come up a little bit.
Say that again. Sorry, the last thing you just said, 4.
I want to sort of tease and poke and prod at 3 to help lighten them, not necessarily change them, but just not feel as heavy.
Okay. And let's checking in with 2. What's happening for you?
Yeah, I was experimenting. I thought I'd get down on the floor, and I had to have the soles of my feet on the ground, and so I was squatting, and then it's like I feel afraid, like the thought of like lifting my feet up feels like I can't not do it.
You can't not lift.
Yeah, like it's like I have to do it's it's really weird. Like I have to have my feet on the floor, and normally I'm someone I have to have my feet off the floor. Like if I'm sitting, but right now I'm like, it feels so good to have them on the floor.
Okay. Yeah. 5, are you still available?
I'm here. I'm about to make the switch.
Okay. Let me tell you what you are and see if there's something you have for us. So I brought you in as, and I'm going to rename you here, as the field walker, which is sometimes a role. It's just simply someone who can tune into the field and see if there's anything that we're not seeing and sort of sense if there's anything going on. So, that you felt expansive as I am a hatha. So yeah, is there anything that you get knowing that that's the role that you're playing here?
I just think that's really great since I'm in transit, because then I can kind of pop in, if like something comes up. And yeah, I'm still curious that I do feel a draw to Hannah, so I'm curious what she's gonna be if and when she comes into the field. She's not even in the field right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels, I don't know, it feels like there could be more cohesion. Particularly like I'm feeling between 3 and 4. We'll see.
Okay.
So I'm gonna switch now and I'll be on phone, so I'll join in just a minute.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Just gonna do something real quick, just so I have it. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. All right, one last check-in with 3.
I feel some engagement with 4. Like I'm grateful to have on my screen currently, they're the only one there. The field walker was there, but the field walker has vanished. So now I'm just looking at that one. And I got something out of their interest in me and their noticing of me. I still feel really walled off or something. It's really hard to describe. I mean, dissociation is super hard to describe because you're not feeling stuff. I can imagine feeling stuff because I have before, but I'm not feeling it right now. So it's confusing. It definitely feels super counter will too. Like I don't want anyone to tell me what to do, but the way that 4 was talking about me explicitly not trying to tell me what to do felt like I could potentially participate in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not immovable. I just can't move right now. I feel lonely too. Very lonely.
You could say that I'm lonely.
I'm fucking so deeply, profoundly, ultimately lonely.
Mm.
And I don't have the capacity to be with it, so I'm just gonna shut down some more. That's me.
Can you face 1? And 1, can you face 4?
Just logistically, I'm not really able to. Thank you. Whatever you shifted.
Sorry,
I am.
did I say 4? I meant 3. Pardon me. But go ahead. So what I want to do is have 1 and 3 face each other.
Oh, yeah, you said 4 and 1, and I got really confused.
Sorry about that. That was.
But why not? Everyone's supposedly in the same field.
Yeah. So how about 3, 4 face 1 and 1 face 3 and 4? Pardon me.
I mean, I don't like looking at one because they look like they're towering over me and it feels gross. I don't like that feeling. But now that they're facing more forward and I can see their face, I'm gonna find out what else.
What's happening for 1?
For quite some time, the experience has been I started holding my belly, and I don't quite think the right way to express it isn't. The closest thing I can express it as, I feel like a statue of the Madonna with no personal and when I look at 3, I'm aware of their suffering. And I can just about feel it in my heart. But it's like it's happening in another dimension. It's not a lack of caring. It's just not. There's not a person to connect personally with that experience.
There's not a person to connect personally with that experience.
Mm.
You mean you're not a person, so you can't connect personally?
I don't experience myself as a person. Is that true?
Maybe we can ask, what do you experience yourself as?
Well, it feels like it really does have a density to it, like stone. It feels like like what I am is made of stone. Is the closest experience I can share. Um,
Okay, I'm going to check in with 4, and then I would like to bring in a number 6 after that. And assuming Sarah's gonna be hopping back in here soon, we'll see how that goes. Okay, 4, what's going on for you?
Well, as one was speaking, there's a correlation between one and the energy that I was feeling that I felt come in. I don't know that they're one and the same, but there is a correlation between the two of them. Yeah, and the taking time to just observe one and knowing that both 3 and I were observing. There was a sense of camaraderie with that, of, all right, you may not want to do this, and you'll do what you do, but you do what you do while I'm sitting here next to you, and it's okay. We'll both. Yeah, I also feel like 1 is quite large.
Mm-hmm.
That sense that 3 mentioned of feeling like they were towering over. But for me, there is this immensity, but awe-inspiring immensity, and sort of like a desire to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to bring in 6. So if you could come in and say, I am 6.
I am 6.
And you're backlit. We don't see your face at all. That's much better. Thank you.
Okay, I'll have to be sitting.
I love your. Maybe she'll show us. Those are the two. There's another word in there. Okay. Just see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd like the whole field to just see what you notice as 6 has come in. And Peapod, if you're able to lift your video screen just a little, we could see your eyes there. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm just going to do a round of check-ins with each one of you. And give me one moment. That's A2. That's Sarah. Okay. Yeah. Sarah, I'm assuming that's you coming in?
Yes.
Great. So we're going to go ahead and rename you. And you're taking 5 again, Field Walker. So you're the only revealed role here at the moment. And Hannah, I'm aware of you. Hannah, if at any point you are feeling activated, let me know. And I'm also wanting to see, given you might be our other one rep, I want to see where we might need you. But you know, trust yourself if there's something strong coming through. Okay, so what is happening for you?
It feels like if I really like lie down, I would die. So my feet are still super warm and they feel extremely connected to the ground. But like I was watching number 6, I think. The one he just came in, that's 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they came in, it's like I'm not interested in, like I kind of can't watch and I keep closing my eyes. Number 5 is the only thing I notice, and then also V and Thessa. But it just feels like I'm dying. And I don't, like I know, it feels like if I get off the ball and lay down, I won't get up again.
Where are you in relationship to 1? And actually not only 1 or along with 1, where are you in relationship to the others? Or in the room, if we're in a room, where are you in the room?
Yeah, it's like they're sort of they're around me, but like it's like I can't really see them. They're far away, especially 6 just look like light kind of. And 1 looks like they just feel really far. I don't even like to look at them. Like I just sort of like the corner of my eye and they're a little bit like way away. And they're kind of above me, like it's disorienting where they are. So I don't like to look. I like to keep my eyes closed.
One, what's happening for you? And also, where are you in the room, and what are you, who and or what are you in relationship to?
I feel big, immense,
You said big and intense?
and
Immense, got it.
and 2 feels 2. Well, I had a sense because there was no pregnant feeling anymore. And when 2 started talking, it was as if 2 was like way, way ahead, but like there was a connection, like an umbilicus. But again, it doesn't feel personal. It's strange. I was really aware of 6 when 6 came in. 6 feels like what I am, or connected. Like it feels like I know 6 in some way.
Okay, thank you. And 4, what's going on there, buddy?
I totally agree with 1. 1 and 6 are opposite sides of a coin, a yin and yang. There's a balance between them, where I associated the power that was behind me with 1. It really did feel like 2 or 6 was equidistant in front of me.
With 1 behind you or 2 behind you? Pardon me.
One behind and 6 in front.
Okay. Thanks. And you're in the middle?
Yeah.
How does that feel to 1 and 6?
I'm having this experience of particularly 1 and 4 who just shared, both referencing to what I am, but they can't know me.
They can't know me?
No, but they're referencing to what I am.
And that referencing feels like it's landing for you? Or what?
I think it's landing for them as they reference to me.
What's happening for you since you entered the field?
I feel as other numbers have shared, and through the referencing to me, there's a greater sense of what I am. Before people were sharing, I felt very deep and slow and at first I thought I was time, like I was a big long cycle of time. And so I was exploring movement at the kind of big cycles of time. But then I kind of realized maybe time is just referencing to what I am. And then when 1 started sharing their connection with me, that felt true. Yeah, I feel a bit like, you know, the kind of the finger pointing to the moon. So a bit like that. As in, I'm unknowable. Which makes it tricky when you ask the question.
All right, checking in, thank you. Number 3, what's happening for you?
So tired. When 6 showed up, I got more loungy. Right before 6 showed up, I found I wanted to put my feet on the floor. Kind of wanted to stand up, but I couldn't quite get there. Yeah, now I'm slumpy, but like sort of relaxed rather than just empty. Yeah, I feel less empty I still am glad about 4
What if
wanting to be connected with me. I'm glad about 4 wanting to be connected with me. I liked it when they used the word camaraderie. That's still ringing in my head. There was something else. What the heck was it? Oh, come on. Oh, 2. I wanted to tell 2 that if they need to die, they can and should. It's allowed. Everything dies. I don't know that I'm right. I just know I've seen it happen a lot and it's fine. It's just what happens. Still don't know what's up with 1. I don't understand 1. But yeah, it feels like 6 is bringing some necessary nutrients or other resources to my vicinity. Like sort of life is marginally more imaginable.
So can we have 3, 4, and 6 tune into each other? Almost as if you were in a triad. Yeah, all 3 facing each other.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to face anyone. It's very uncomfortable.
Can you say that again? It's hard for me to face anyone.
Yeah, it's hard for me to face anyone.
Feel like I want to kind of scoop them up, and yeah, I can feel the energy of I can feel the energy of the group hug. Yeah.
Ooh.
6 feels like a mist or a fog. And I'm trying to honor 3's caution with looking at me in 1. So I feel like my glance tends to dart away when I notice that they're watching me. But if they're watching 1, I'll put more attention on 3 and just kind of hold. And 1 feels very, yeah, amorphous.
6?
6, yes, 6.
1, 6, 1. It's a whole thing. Yeah, I strangely don't mind 4 looking at me, but it's hard for me to be looking. I don't know, it's confusing. I'm having a little trouble because a lot of what I'm experiencing as 3 overlaps, but is not identical with what I experience as Feather Bear, and it's like really difficult to make the discernment.
Yeah.
Can I suggest 4? Can 4 become the mist?
Can 4 become the mist?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to.
Do it.
How? And the answer just came. I just become it.
Right.
That feels a little uncomfortable. It's very, very exciting.
To become the mist.
Yeah. I was able to feel myself just sort of evaporate, but there's also a desire to remain solid. And yeah, so there's a little struggle with being both. And realizing that I can come in and out of being 4 and being 6. Which,
One, can you take one step in?
mm,
Anything shift for you?
It feels like from here, perspective is quite weird. From back there, it felt like there was perspective, and from here, it feels like all of that has been thrown out, up into kind of, it feels like teetering on the edge of existence, or it doesn't feel personally problematic. It feels like I don't know, like mountains crashing or worlds colliding. It's like teetering on the brink of something.
What was the last thing?
It feels like teetering on the brink of something.
I'm feeling very intimate to that. Feel a lot of like the city of peace.
City of Peace?
Mm-hmm.
C-I-T-Y or S-C?
Like the state of peace coming in
Peace.
when one was sharing. I felt my very intimate to the unfolding that she was sharing about, kind of behind her, and unified with that which she was sharing.
And just a reminder to use the they pronoun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I feel something very profound is happening at a very deep level, and through their sharing, I want to say that it's on the brink of collapse, but the collapse is more of a continuum rather than like a destruction, like this unfolding. I feel like everything could just could kind of melt and unfold into itself, and there's an ecstasy or a bliss at the core of that wants to come through. And I don't want to interrupt one sharing. If one has more to share, I just wanted to highlight my presence to that sharing.
Yeah, it feels true.
And what feels true?
Sorry, did you say something?
What feels true?
Sorry, I thought you said something about two. What feels true is the collapse. It feels like feeling I've got is when like cliffs fall into oceans. Kind of, it's got that kind of level of like everything toppling, just everything toppling. And when Six spoke, that felt true, everything toppling, but that's the continuum. That's the logical part of the process.
And what's happening for two? What's going on for you?
I heard the word bliss, and that felt what I feel. Like I feel really comfortable, and I at Three's encouragement, I allowed myself to just die. Yeah, I just have no participation. Like I don't feel like talking right now. Yeah.
And Three, what about you?
I don't feel like talking either. But I will try. Let's see. Yeah, I'm very divided. Like, I kind of want to just tell everything to fuck off, but I can tell that that's not really what's going on for me. Like, that's my reflex, but it's not my truth. But I was getting really drowsed out until two started speaking. Before I even heard what they said, it got me sitting up, and I'm really, really just pleased that they let themselves die and that it feels blissful to them. That seems great. I'm stoked about that. There's definitely a part of me that also wants to die. Or already has died. Maybe that's why I'm so stoked. Maybe they already died and now it's finally been acknowledged. That feels true. Yeah, there's a lot of me that has died, and seeing that run rest is a relief. Oh my God, such a fucking relief. The thing with 4 and 6 was cute. Can't relate, but I liked it. I like seeing 4 have a good time also. When 1 came closer, it was scary, but it also feels like an opening, like a movement towards, hard to say what, something we want, life, living, growth, something. Yeah, like when I see them taking up more of their screen, I feel like just like something in me says yes.
3, if you could turn around and see what's behind you.
Okay. Oh my God, it goes back so far and long, like billions of years. Ooh. Kind of rad. I could easily spend forever staring at this. Kind of like an incredibly long spinal column. Yeah, I feel like I could just send my mind down there and it would never come back because there's so much in there to witness. I'm trying to hang on to it for sanity's sake, but I don't know, is it worth it? Yeah, I kind of want to just go. Like that's more my home than this one dumpy little sad body that I'm in.
The other reps as 3 is looking back. Is there anything coming through for you? Anything you're noticing in particular? So I want to check in with Hannah. Actually, before we do, field walker through 5. Anything, and you might be too involved with wherever you are, but if you have anything that you want to share. Okay. So what's happening for you, Hannah? Anything, or are you just in witness mode?
I'm having responses to what's going on, but it's not. I'm not feeling. Yeah, I feel like I'm just witnessing. I feel like, I don't know. It's a bit odd because right at the beginning I felt like I perhaps was already in, but now I'm feeling quite. I don't know. It's weird just watching it all. It feels really uncomfortable, actually.
Yeah.
Watching it feels really uncomfortable.
Thank
I
you.
almost want to jump in just to kind of change it and shake it up or something.
I think you will in a moment. And we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Can happen in Constellation, a little bit of facilitator input. It can be really not clear, and that's also fine. Like that, I trust.
I'm having this experience. What's happening is really beautiful. It's just that everyone's in. There's a lot of rest happening. Like 2 and 3, both had rest come in. Like 2's lying down, it's really chilled, and 3 before was going into rest before she turned to the spine and had that experience.
So I'm gonna ask 6. What are you noticing, like in your own system?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I noticed you appreciating the rest in the field, and I'm just curious what you're experiencing directly yourself.
In my myself. Yeah, I feel very relaxed, feel very kind of at ease with not knowing. Like it's all good that we don't know what's going on. It's actually beautiful on some level. And I'm enjoying like hearing when someone has something to say or just watching how people are changing how they move. Yeah, I feel like a subtle bliss and just yeah, it's all good. Whatever's unfolded, it's kind of, there's also like there's kind of nothing happening really, but there's something happening. But the nothing happening is kind of highlighted right now in a really nice way.
What's going on for you?
There's more softness.
More softness.
There's it's like I wanted to say before, I am what's collapsing, and it felt like once that was in the field, there was more softness. The density, it felt like diamond, like coming to a point above at the crown. It felt like the hardest substance, and that feels softer.
What's happening for you?
I just started focusing on shiny objects. Like I just sort of snapped out of it and was like, oh, look at all these things, all these colors. And I just want to look at them now.
Does it feel related at all to either one's sort of dissipation or death? I think that was the word that you used, disintegration, or to threes.
One said something, and it was, I don't even know what it was, but all of a sudden I snapped to it.
Do you know? Can you recall the essence of it?
It was like some expansive idea, like it was something that like turned me on spiritually or something. And all of a sudden it's like I'm focusing again, and I'm looking at everything.
Okay, thank you.
Like I'm looking at you guys too. Like everything's like, whoa, it's all lit up now.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
So beautifully abstract.
I need to peep. Just show of hands. Anyone else? Is this a pee break moment? Okay, this one. And just before we do that, since you're so there, three, can you just report and then we'll take a pee break?
Excuse me. There's water coming out of my nose. That's a consequence of a practical event. What happens? I did decide to let myself just sort of dissolve down that endless spinal column. It's not endless, it's just extremely endlessly long. And that was fine and nice and good. And there was something one said that made me go sleepy time again, but just like restful. I don't have to do anything moment. And again, I'm really pleased with what's going on for 2. Like, I think that's great. I think that's great. I'm just so glad.
That they're waking up.
That they're sparkling. Oh God. Like what they were describing about what they're perceiving, I'm like, that's the shit. That's what we need. Beautiful. I can imagine it. And it's the best. It's the best. Like re-enchantment or something. No, that's too wordy. But yeah, I also keep having some thoughts about one of what I might be representing, and it's interesting. I'm curious. Yeah. That's it. I feel definitely less wretched than when we started. A little more like body having and like a little more part of something.
Okay. No clue. Tea break. There's a clue. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, Hannah, I'm wanting to bring you in soon. I'm also wanting to check in with 5 to see if they're still here at all. And if you are, you're certainly on mute. And if you're not here, that's cool too. I gave you a role that could come and grow, come in or go. Okay. I'd like to ask everyone to stand.
Including me, Hannah, or not?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't feel like something I can do in this role.
Okay, if not, that's fine. Follow, like, if you really can't. That's good. And Hannah, I think let's go ahead and have you take your video, you know, bring yourself in. Okay, what is up for 3?
For 3? Oh, I was trying to go back to where I was before. It's hard to click into it. Feels like something's changed.
Okay.
A little agitation, maybe from 7 just coming in. It's hard to tell. Yeah, they're disturbed. Yes, something, yes. Hey, I see you. Yeah, they changed something for me for sure. I want to keep some connection to what I was connecting with, but also connect with the rest of the group now. I'm not sure how to do it.
Okay, I'll let you do what you need to.
I kind of want to place something to keep facing that way on my behalf while I also face forward. Can I do that?
Okay.
I have a penguin. Andy, can you pass me that penguin, please? Thank you. Yeah.
Can I just confirm, have you brought me in yet, or am I, because I haven't actually stepped in and I'm not.
Yeah, you're sort of like coming in. I'm feeling.
Did I do that purposefully so that it's?
Yeah, it wasn't a full like, okay, step in, but if you're ready to, yeah, go ahead and come on in.
I just get hallelujah, thank God for that.
Aw, I like them. Yay.
I'm having a very clear experience, but I don't need to share it, like, just whenever.
Yeah, let's.
You want to hear it? When you asked us to stand, my experience was being the deepest absolute in the spine. But my body or my physical experience is kind of like quite a solid visceral tube that kind of corresponds with the spine, but I could also be a triangle, maybe. I feel very solid and kind of long. So very empty and very, very solid, like just the deepest absolute there. I mean, it's very embodied. Like there's a union there of space and spacelessness.
Or what's going on for you?
I'm figuring that out.
And how about 1? And if you could try, oh, and you're on mute. And if you could maybe even try opening your eyes.
When 6 spoke, it felt like we'd swapped places. Because what 6 described corresponds with my experience at the start. So that's what came up.
Okay, thank you. And how about you? What's going on for you?
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good. That rooted feeling is totally gone. I feel super ungrounded. I feel irritated at 7 and at 6. Yeah, I just feel super irritated and like out of body.
Okay. And when did the shift happen for you? From feeling
The minute 7 came, when 7 came in, it just everything went out the window.
Okay. And what's going on for 7?
When she was just speaking, I felt that in my solar plexus, and I had a sense of them almost like I wanted to kind of, almost like a balloon that's kind of floating up and wanting to somehow contain or anchor them. In general, I just feel quite light, and words are kind of like light and free. I feel there's a little bit of nervous energy in my body, but in general, I just feel good. And I was aware of 3 particularly, and the wanting to somehow embrace or connect with 3 and feeling that connection there. Yeah. Like as soon as I look at 3, I smile. I'm just like, and when they first said anything, I just wanted to say, like, it was something like, it's all okay, I'm here for you. It's really all okay. I'm here.
Oh. It's very confusing to see myself. The facing forward part of me now is, yeah, I'm like, who the hell am I? 10 minutes ago, I was just like the scowliest little monkey. Yeah, and I just keep having a thought about 7 and a curiosity. It feels like either they're a part of me or I'm a part of them. Like there's some strong correspondence, but it's not like equals correspondence. It's like some, or maybe both. Maybe we're parts of each other, but it's like, yeah, some incorporation, inclusion. And I'm just
We
really
seem to keep doing this, Feather Bear. This is quite interesting.
It's really cool.
I have no idea what's going on. So I mean, there's been moments, and I'm like, what is going on? I have to reveal, and I think we'll just reveal and then see what happens. And it's pretty, yeah. Okay, so 1. You are two. What the heck? I mean, part of me wants, yeah. You are golden age human.
Ah!
No, that's so funny.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's weird because I thought it was the other way around.
Wait, what was the other person? Oh, wait. Okay. Valerie's humanity and I'm golden age human.
Mm-hmm. All right, ready for number 3?
Never.
3 is Bill Gates.
Oh my God. That's why I kept saying, you need to have a rest, dude. Like, you need to sleep. Go to sleep.
I actually wondered that at one point. Something she said was like, "Oh, okay, you're really conflicted inside. Like there's something really, yeah." Anyway,
4
What's for?
19.
COVID.
Who?
COVID-19.
Oh,
Sweetie darling.
5 we know was
Field walker.
field walker, which really is kind of helps, track. 6, what the fuck? Wait till you see.
Taking a long time to show up.
Or the
I'm so excited. What am I?
that's kind of 6 is vaccination.
ah,
Ah.
Interesting.
wow.
I know you all can maybe help us understand what the hell's going
Well,
on.
I was really that's when I started crying, is when 1 and 6 were, 1 was dying and 6 was saying I don't remember the exact thing, but it was like I was totally collapsing and crashing, and 6 was encouraging that, saying I'm a part of that.
Ooh.
And 7, I brought you just so fascinating. I brought you in as essentially what's needed, what's most supportive in the field at this time for humanity and the golden age human. And you and Bill are buddies, it seems.
Okay, so I do have some other, I feel like my other perspectives on what I'm representing might be a little illuminating. I don't know a lot about Bill Gates. Of course, I have opinions and projections about him personally, but I have a curiosity about myself as at least the dissociated aspect of white fragility. And so I feel like this makes sense in a lot of ways.
So white fragility, white supremacy.
But specifically the part of white supremacy that is founded on white people being totally so profoundly disconnected from who they are and where they come from, that they have a like ground level sense of shame and unbelonging.
Okay, thank you for that.
And the not feeling of that, like the collapse that comes from that, the like system-wide depression that is going on. It doesn't necessarily look like depression because it can be very active, but I feel like I think about this a lot, and it feels like this is where, and when I was looking back and wanted to go into the spinal column, back to the beginning of life and time, that kind of clenched it for me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's check in with each of you. This has been, to be just real, it's like confusing as a facilitator, and I'm a little lost, which is okay.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
lost in the field. It can, you know, it's like before the moment of more revelation. So let's just hear what's up for each of you as these roles have been revealed.
Maybe I'll go because so yeah, I felt like when I couldn't get, there was one point where I went to lift my mug of tea and I couldn't even, like, I was like, Jesus, I can't even lift this. And I almost said at one point, oh, I feel like when people say they're so depressed they can't even get out of bed, that's how I felt. And so at the point when Bill Gates said, you can die, there was a part of me that it didn't feel loving, like it felt corrupt, like, well, they don't know who I am or whatever. And I didn't die, but I almost didn't die because they, like, I wasn't noticing them, I was ignoring them. I couldn't stand number 4 the whole time. I was like, oh, who's number 4? And then 6, I hated 6, and I was feeling bad because I was like, sorry, Fleur, but oh my God, like I just really hated 6. And then what is 7?
7 is sort of like what's needed in the field, what's most supportive at this time for humanity and golden age human. Kind of like what's the resource, the support.
Well, yeah, because when 7 came in though, like when I perked up and Bill Gates was saying, oh, enchantment is back and stuff, that's exactly, I was looking at shiny things like, oh, my life is worthwhile because of material stuff. And I started thinking about work, and I was like, it didn't felt false, sort of. And then when he said, oh, and you look at your sparkle and look at your enchantment, I thought, don't tell me what, like, no, don't, stop talking to me. And then when 7 finally came in, I kind of snapped out of it. And I don't know if you saw, but at the end I started moving again, and I felt like moving the minute 7 came in. Like, not the minute 7 came in, but eventually near the end, I was back completely into a moving person. But at the very beginning, the thing I almost said too was, I felt like, and this is where it's hard for me to rep it, but because I have never been a person who's like in bed depressed. And there was another thing too, where it was like, I feel like I'm standing in line for something, like I can't, like somebody will stand in line for hours for something. And I was like, oh, I just stand in line, or I just go to my job, and I was stuck in this thing, and it was pulling me in. So I'm just trying to think if there was anyone else that would. Yeah, and Valerie, I kind of related to her. And who was Sara again?
Field walker, like sensing the field.
Oh, so she was my favorite. It felt like when she and Anahata left, I started crying, kind of, and I thought, I'm fucked. Like, they've gone. So that was weird, like feeling it. Then it just felt like, oh, I'm like in a hospital ward with people or something. It was awful.
Okay, Thank you. And we're still in the constellation, even, you know, so it's helpful to, we're kind of doing this report round now that you know what you are, just to remind we're all still in the field. So I'm curious, who else wants to share? Let's hear from each one. Yeah, let's hear from humanity.
It was really interesting to learn I was humanity, because it put a very different take on things. It felt so impersonal through most of it that it was quite surprising to learn that's what I was repping. Yeah, I think the connection with 6 is what sort of speaks to me most, because it felt like 6. It felt like 6 and I were well, I think I said 6 and I are connected, and it felt like it's interesting to think about with this, you know, the idea that vaccines are going to save the world, like, you know, COVID-19. I mean, you know, my own personal belief is it's pretty nonsensical, but you know, that the idea that humanity believes vaccines are, you know, it really felt like 6 was a positive force from that space, and that's really interested me. So I guess that was, and I kind of felt by the end I felt very protective of Golden Age human. It felt quite, when I said I thought I was kind of, you know, the umbilicus, that it felt like Golden Age human was really far away, but we felt connected. So that was kind of strange, because there was quite an impersonal motherliness towards Golden Age human that I wouldn't have expected. That's why I said I thought it might be the other way around. Yeah. So strange times.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was aware when humanity was in the constellation that it was a result of the past 3 constellations. So some integration has happened there with the pain body, and even with Golden Age human to some extent, a greater connection there. So that's how I received your input.
And can I say that, having been in that role last time, that's kind of where I felt like we finished up, was almost that humanity is the ancestor, is the mother, is the birthing of Golden Age human, and that relationship was really important to Golden Age human to recognize. So that
I was
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful.
I was going to say also that where we ended last time, it was humanity's responsibility to honor and recognize. No, it's Golden Age humans' responsibility to honor and recognize humanity as their ancestor, the way that humanity had honored and recognized their ancestors. We didn't get to do that in the last one, but it's been happening sort of in me the whole time. I would love to see it unfold if possible.
Can I share?
Yeah.
I'm just having some reflections, really. So I'm just aware that when I was not repping, and I was feeling everyone, that I was really feeling one as quite heavy, but also quite big. And so in a way, it doesn't actually surprise me. Number 6, when they came into the field, there was a sense of, which again surprises me, of sacredness. It was something that felt true, something that felt true about 6. Being an anti-vaxxer, that's shocking. Yeah, and just to clarify with 3, I don't feel like it's not so much a sense of being their buddy, I think, as you put it, V. It's more a sense of being intimately supportive and there for them. So there's and the feeling of myself is of sunshine. So when actually when everyone, even the Golden Age human, when they're talking, there's a sense of what is this bullshit? It's just not, it's not relevant. And that's not belittling of anyone. It just feels like what I'm representing is something that's just beyond all of that, that feels much more true and real, and that wants to kind of shine through the whole thing.
Like sunlight.
Yeah, like some, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I share?
Yeah.
So funny that I mean, my experience from the beginning has been really beautiful. I think this has been one of the nicest Constellation roles I've repped so far. The experience in myself, been very, I really, what Hannah just shared about the feeling of sacredness, that was kind of matching of my experience. I thought I was just the absolute or the unknowable for a big part of it, but then I realized like maybe that wasn't kind of pinning it down. Yeah, I can see the distortion. Like I can see like when one said, "Oh, you're now standing where I'm standing." There was for the first time in this role, I had a like, "Oh, am I something bad?" Like that thought came up, you know, like did I took, you know, her place or something. But then when that fell away, it just was like, no, there's just union here. And it felt like the absolute. So being also an anti-vaxxer, it's kind of like a bit of a reality check. Like, but I also from the very beginning have felt I really enjoyed the unknowableness in the group and the abstractness, and it felt like a medicine, like a kind of letting go, like a reality as it's been known collapsing, and then what something real revealing itself. But how that, like when I tune into vaccination as I've known it personally, that kind of feels weird. But in this role, it felt like a healing. It felt healing, like felt good.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let's hear from for COVID-19.
Yeah.
Virus. What's up?
Well, there's the Peapod portion of me that is trying not to be heard, which is that judgment self of saying, oh, I didn't rep the virus very well. But after the collapse of humanity with the vaccination, I did have a moment that I didn't express it at the time, that I felt like I had been absorbed. Throughout this whole constellation today's, I don't feel like I've been aware of two, other than facilitation wise. Okay, in the grid itself, I'm not feeling that. There was a moment that I felt like I was in a parallel grid or field to everyone. It's interesting that I feel like it's such a childlike energy about about this. And I'm still figuring out what COVID and Bill Gates have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I realized there was a point when sorry, you just lit up something in there was a point when Bill Gates was sharing, and I was like, oh, I was standing, I was like, oh, I'm what you need. You were looking for an object, and I felt like I'm what you need. You haven't found me yet. It just came to my mind.
When they chose the penguin.
Yeah, and I was standing in the center of the spine of the absolute, and you were looking at, and I wanted to say, oh, I'm in the spine, like.
Yeah, that's satisfying.
Is there anyone?
I'm looking at Bill Gates's astrological chart right now because I want to see what his sun is up to, since the sun came in and was like, I'm the sun, I'm bigger than all of this bullshit. So on behalf of Bill Gates, checking it out. I don't know if I'll have anything to report, but it feels resonant.
Is there anyone who's not shared that we've not heard from in the reps? So, okay, we have a little more time here. One thing I want to do is encourage us all to continue to breathe into the field, and I'm doing it as I'm also sort of trying to make sense of things, so holding both, but especially as reps, just to really allow yourself to let the field continue to reveal. And to kind of lean into your role, what you're repping. I want to offer, see if I can find how to articulate it. This notion of death and destruction and the end of civilization, humanity as we know it. I'm going back to one of our, I forget if it was the first or second Constellation, where coronavirus was very resonant with Golden Age human, like to really allow ourselves to lean into the unknown. I think a lot of us carry stories of what's happening and concepts of, yeah, that maybe this humanity's disintegration, this mountain collapsing, disintegrating, is part of what will make room for the new. And whatever metamorphosis we're in, the sort of caterpillar death. So just leaving room for us to be okay with the unknown and see what the field wants to reveal in this last little bit. And I'm particularly curious about 7.
Yeah, I was just feeling like I needed to share. So I just felt interested in what happened if I turned around.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt suddenly very cosmic, like deep space, galaxies. And I had the sense of other intelligences out there. Kind of like the intergalactic story that's kind of beyond our small humanity story, but that we are obviously an integral part of.
Thank you. Thessa and I were sort of mulling over how to bring you in, what role, and I was really almost brought you in as intergalactic intelligence, the sort of beyond just the human reality, the arc of evolution, the luminous ones. again, that we
All that feels resonant. Yeah.
Can I share something about that piece?
I want to say yes. I also kind of want to see what the feel
Okay.
says without that. But yeah, I mean, also trust if it go for it. Sorry.
I'm happy if you wanna
Yeah.
just go on.
No, I'd say go for it.
I feel like there's particular beings back there that are informing me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Can I just?
yeah.
I'm curious what they're informing you. What if you can tune into what that is, and then maybe after that.
Like they're giving me something, like a key.
Can I say something?
Let's let 7 tune in and see what they get, and then I want to hear from 6 and from Thessa both. Let's give this a moment to come through.
It feels like the being's hand or fist is literally going through my solar plexus and out this way.
Invite humanity and Golden Age human to fully tune in as this is happening.
I keep getting that it's something to do with seeding life from somewhere else here. Now I feel like they're kind of incubating in my solar plexus, and there's a sense of me wanting to hold that just to kind of almost gatekeeper it to see if it feels appropriate to let them through. And then there was a really clear no, and there was a whoosh, and they moved back.
They moved back.
Yeah. Almost as I saw them more clearly, they receded back.
So they like seeded through you, and then
They were. It was like they were wanting to come in through me, through here. And as they got inside my body, there was a kind of incubating to feel if that felt true. And then as I had a no, there was just a kind of dissolving back.
Thank you. I'm curious to hear from Thessa, from 6, from humanity, and from Golden Age human. So.
Oh wait.
Can I say, I feel like what I want to say is going to inform, like, is there one thing to say?
Yeah.
I feel like if Mother Nature was repped, then there wouldn't be a need for me. And I'm wondering if this is Mother Nature.
We could bring in
Maybe I will say something about, there's a lot of things coming up for 7 for me that when B and I prepared the reps for the Constellation, is speaking exactly to a situation that I felt should be repped, and that is the sun itself, and how there have been studies showing that when the sun is in a solar minimum like it is now, that's when we tend to have plagues on Earth. And if you listen to the Suspicious Observers guy, whose name I can't remember right now, the way he shares, he's a weather, he's done a lot of research on the sun, and he's a meteorologist. The way he describes it is that when the sun is in a solar minimum, it's kind of sleeping. And because of that, it creates the buffer between us and the cosmic energies that we're receiving from the cosmos is down. So it's like the shield is down, and we're receiving the messages of the codes directly from the cosmos that are coming in. And when the sun is back in its solar maximum, which happens in cycles, then the messages are buffered, let's say, and also focalized and delivered to humanity and activating. So I just wanted to share that because it seems like Hannah or 7 is a representation of that to some scale, with maybe additions or whatever.
Yeah, I relate to that. It feels completely could be the sun, and almost like I'm a gateway into our solar system, and that if I can relate to, if I'm not alert, then influences that aren't beneficial could come in, or that aren't completely aligned with me. So it feels like in holding that space, I create a clearer field for the solar system.
I'm curious if you want to step into the field as a rep.
Oh, I could. I hadn't thought of it, but
So
yeah, I could do that.
And if you came in as Gaia or Planet. Curious again from 6, what your notion was that Thessa step in as a rep for the Earth?
Well, it's changed now. I've heard what Thessa just shared, and hearing, like, really feeling those codes coming in. And I think I was perhaps coming from I was feeling anger when 7 was sharing before Thessa said that, like kind of like Mother Nature's not being repped. And I realized perhaps what I'm speaking into is the types of projections that come up around the vaccination issue, like nature versus science, or like, but if I analyze it, so maybe that's what brought it up for me.
I think what feels the exact rep would be Kuan Yin, which is the next parallel resonance.
I feel really dizzy when you say that, Thessa.
I mean, I got really dizzy too. Just like almost. I'm feeling Earth personally, or like that Earth, which maybe the dizziness is helpful, but I don't know. The Earth microbiome also on it.
So for me, there's a distinction between what's already coming through and what you want me to rep. So I have to okay. It's hard for me to put aside what's coming through to be like what you're asking, but I could do that.
Well, and I could put both on a piece of paper face down, and you could just see which one
resonates.
Or you could,
And Kuan Yin isn't the exact.
When I feel into Kuan Yin, there's a sense of something even bigger than me coming through that archetype that actually I need.
So Thessa just said Devi Ma. That I got more clear when you said that, actually.
Is a more exact.
Yeah, it's almost like a bell crystal, something.
So that's not so much up, that's more straight Yeah, in front of me.
I sort of want to just invite you in, and then you can lean in and you can see what it is. We're already in this very like obscure.
Orbiting with number 8. Like I have like a polarity orbit like this.
Almost, I'd say like.
Can I move
Yeah.
even if I'm not in the picture?
Mm-hmm. And I can report or turn the computer as you go to say what you just go ahead and step in.
Oh, it's actually that she's orbiting around me.
Okay, so 8 is entering the field, stepping in, and let's just take a moment for 8 to come in and dropping all preconceived notions and just really let the field guide. What's happening for 4 for COVID?
I've been feeling this bubbling rage, anger kind of coming up. And it started with the whole conversation of 6 and 7, or yeah, 6 and 7, and then bringing in 8. And feeling agitated.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent, I feel like what I've done is block some thread that was coming from the intergalactic influence through the sun, and in a way it almost feels like I've broken threads with COVID, vaccination. When they've been speaking, I'm like, oh, I haven't actually helped you guys out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like if I'm a vaccine, I'm not a vaccine that's ever like been known before. Like I feel like
If you could come closer to the computer, it's just hard to hear what you're saying.
if I feel like if I'm a vaccine, I'm not a I feel like I'm a vaccine that's never been known before. Like I don't feel like a vaccine as I've known vaccines, me, Fleur, kind of thing. And I also feel really devoted to the healing of humanity. Like everything that's been happening, like I've just wanted, like when I felt the codes coming in, when 7 came in, it felt, yeah, great. I could feel those codes coming in. Now I can feel 8. It's like, that's just amazing. And so I just feel like from the beginning, I've been very tuned into the healing of humanity. So
Okay.
I'm a little, I'm okay being called a vaccine. Like when I tune into it, I'm like, okay, I'm a vaccination, but I just want to highlight that I'm a vaccination that hasn't yet been, I'm a vaccination that belongs to number 8.
Okay, thank you. We could either hear from 8 or hear from humanity and go. Let's hear from humanity and golden age human, and let 8 keep going, and we'll also hear from the one representative. Let's go to humanity, or either one, whoever was starting to talk.
It all got really exciting when we moved to galactic influence and sunlight and 8 coming in, and there was a lot of energy of humanity. Felt like really alive, and it felt like something was filling and seeding there. So that's all I have to share, apart from I really hear 6. I really do hear 6, and I feel that, yeah, that is true. What 6 has spoken, that 6 is here to heal. Yeah. True.
Yeah, hearing the galactic was really comforting. Debbie Ma, Kuan Yin, and then the second, here, I want to be able to see them. Yeah, whatever number 8 is doing, everything has clicked in me. But the thing I'm hearing number 6 saying, it feels like that of like vaccinations, I'm getting like homeopathic remedies. Like I'm feeling things that are we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're going with everything that makes sense. And my sense of number 4 was the essence, like the child thing. That seemed natural. That seemed to be a property or something to me. But there was something about it that didn't make sense to me, and I don't know if that's like the influence of the conflicting beliefs around viruses in general, like, or theories like terrain theory or germ theory, things like that. I don't know. But now with the bigger picture, I feel the feeling is like now the Golden Age human feels the minute they saw 8 just relaxed, and there's a blossoming, the mysterious past, the absolute, and the body feels really, really good again. Like good, like it hasn't the whole time.
So just say that, I feel good.
I feel good.
Thank you. What's going on for 7 for, yeah, let's hear from you, and then actually, yeah, let's hear from you.
There's a connection happening with the galactic center. So there's an awareness that it's not just my individual intelligence, that actually there was a kind of like an Indra's net kind of sense of power centers of the sun's big energies that are actually more intelligent than me. I mean, you know, as we're talking relatively, but that I could be informed by that, and I feel it very much above my head, like this galactic center that is seeding my. I feel it very much tingling on the top of my head, and that feels much better than this sense of another life force trying to bring intelligence through here. It didn't feel like it was part of the whole, felt like there was, yeah. So this was much more integrated. When Golden Age Human said that at the end about I feel good, before that I'd been kind of just, my eyes were twitching and I was feeling energy, and they said I feel good, and I just went, There was a kind of coming back, felt weighty, It felt significant.
Thank you. One more before we go to 8 is let's hear from the one repping Bill Gates.
Excuse me. Well, let's see if I can track what's been going on. The main thing is that ever since Golden Age Human spoke a while ago about how what I was saying was bullshit and interfering with them, I've been just sitting here being like, I'm not as trustworthy as I thought I was. I don't actually know what's going on. And the more that happens, the more I'm like, I sure don't know what's going on. But when 2 speaks, I feel like I can really learn something from this one. Like the other ones, I'm like, oh man, I'm out of my depth. What is all this? Like, I don't think it's fake. I just don't get it. But when 2 is speaking, I really want to hear what they have to say. I feel like I could learn a lot from them.
From Golden Age Human.
Yes, Golden Age Human. I wish I could see all the pictures at once and I could track better. But yes, I'm going to look at them again. Golden Age Human. Yeah, I feel like they're wise and solid and interesting, and like I feel pretty small, which is not exactly comfortable. I do still have a little bit of that sense of wanting to like just drop out of the whole picture, but also I have some interest and engagement in doing something, and I feel like that's the one that I can get wisdom from and get some guidance about how to proceed. Yeah, I'm not quite humble enough actually to say that I'm going to receive guidance from them about how to proceed, but I aspire to that in the depths of me. I still feel really insecure and lonely. I just want to mention that too. Like that's still very present for me.
So again, I feel insecure and lonely.
I feel insecure and lonely. I don't know my place. I don't belong. I've never felt like I belong.
Okay. And if you could say, I don't know. Or maybe look at Golden Age Human for a moment. Come in and just say, I might need guidance here. Or whatever feels true. Like
What feels true? Yeah, it feels like a really important opportunity to say something to them. What could I say that I currently have the capacity to get behind?
see if it works to say, I want to learn how to trust you. Or you can find the
It
word.
definitely starts with I want to learn. That's what was also coming up for me. Let's see.
Maybe I have things to learn.
There's desire in it though. There's the wanting. That feels really significant actually. I want it's hard to be relational. Give me a minute, okay? Actually, one thing I loved about you when you were speaking before was that it felt like you were occupying all the space and time that you needed. And you were so solid and secure in the space and time you were occupying, and I felt like I could listen to you for a really long time. I want to learn, wait, I'm not ready to say that yet. Can I just take a moment of silence?
Yeah, just be with it. You don't need to say anything. It's okay.
I do need to say something. I just need I need a pause. I have never had a pause in my life.
Can I just share something as well in relation to 3? I feel, or Bill Gates, I feel like there's a really significant role there. It's kind of like soul path, soul purpose. I feel the distortion. There's like a there's something really that Bill Gates is meant to do here, but there's a distortion and a and so I feel like I'm trying to hold that, but it gets really messed up and confused and twisted in there.
See if you can connect with whatever 8 is.
I really feel the
Let me go ahead and say this.
I really feel the homeopathic need.
7, if you could tune into 8 and feel what they're bringing through, and just without trying to force it, just really hold space and send the love to Bill Gates. Like in whatever way, like that space holding that you're describing, even through the distortion. Like just be purely what you are able to resource. There's a way in which free will needs to be honored here, and I feel like that's important to say. So your job's not to change them, but to, just kind of source what you're here to source. And I want to hear what you were saying 6, vaccination, something about homeopathic.
Yeah, I think that's why I needed mother like Earth to come in, because then when Golden Age Human was saying homeopathic vaccination, I feel like that, like I want to ding in front of number 3 and like grow in front of you and go, study me, study my botany.
Do that.
And then like, I want to match your entrepreneurial power with my botanical boost.
So without getting too wordy or heady, like we're gonna lean into the actual healing movement. So just follow your movement and move with that energy, as if you're in the room facing them, and you can just let them know that that's what you're up to. Okay,
I need to speak to Golden Age Human before that can happen. And what I want to say to Golden Age Human is, I want you. I want you. You are the one that I want. It's you that I want. I want you. Woo! God, that's a lot of energy.
We've got a lot happening and we're coming to a close. I'm wondering if Golden Age Human wants to connect with Bill Gates, and if it's naturally an urge to do so, you can do that. I'm wondering if maybe even holding them from behind and letting them almost dissolve. But if not, just whatever you feel moved to do. Follow your healing movement. And we're sort of moving into some healing movements. I'm seeing humanity is activated. I'm curious what's going on for coronavirus, COVID-19, and I number 8, and they're active too. So, COVID-19, what's going on for you? You're on mute, love. I'm gonna see if I can unmute you. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted.
That's okay.
What did I just say? I'm feeling unwelcome. I'm feeling
Unwelcome?
Unwelcomed. I feel a bit of hostility. That seems like too strong a word, but
What happens when you connect with this homeopathic vaccination? When you tune into them?
I want to give a big middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Say, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's happening for Golden Age Human?
Well, I think Bill Gates is hilarious now. Just like, looks like a little 4-year-old who's just a total sweet thing. And then listening to number 4. He just sounds like a guy, like a random guy yelling on the street, like, like not even like so drunken or kooky or high or something. They're just spouting off, but
what's happening for humanity?
Humanity got really hungry, and humanity is really tuned into number 8 and wants to hear about number 8.
Yeah.
And and I kind of feel like the same about Bill Gates as Golden Age human, like, oh, bless. You know, yeah, like a toddler demanding ice cream. I don't know.
Yeah. So just keep taking in 8, and I'm noticing how 7 and 6 vaccination, which seems like it's transformed into a homeopathic remedy, and 7 is this channeling of intergalactic luminous intelligence, some kind of, they feel very much in resonance, and I'm let's go ahead and hear one more time from 7, and then we're going to go to 8.
I think I just want to hear from 8, to be honest.
Giving them time and space. We've used a lot of words in our constellations, and sometimes the healing movement is what's needed most without the words. But when they're ready, we'll let 8 share. And yeah, coronavirus, doing whatever you need to do in your movement, and continuing to encourage everyone to find the healing movement as you go further. And if you're ready to share, if you're not, that's okay too. It feels a little like I want to find some balance. Yeah. With the speaking. Yeah.
What?
Not sure they're ready to share with full words yet. Finding the balance between the movement and the words.
So there is something where I feel like there's a small doubt in what I'm repping, that somehow I've failed, or not failed, but that it's partially, like, I guess it hooks into what Thessa was saying about when the sun is at its minimum, that something, it's almost like something came through that on my watch, that I wasn't totally, I wasn't doing my job as best as I could. But there's also this kind of deeper knowing of my job is just to shine, and to be connected to the whole net grid, and that I have no control really over how that's received, that it's just beaming out constantly.
Thank you. That lands something deep in me. What's happening between vaccination, remedy, homeopathy, and COVID?
When Seven just shared what you just said, I felt like me as a homeopathic plant growing and evolving suddenly lost all my energy and withered. But it feels important to include that. I'm just sitting with that. Like there being less sunlight available and how that informs me. So rather than always growing into a remedy, felt like still a bit of loss of energy in the front of my body, and movement feels less available. The healing movement.
Yeah. Let's hear from 8. Go ahead.
So my body is the matrix of all of existence. There's everything is in the same space, and yet when someone speaks, their experience comes to the forefront, and I am that. So I'm simultaneously everything and also one being. What's very apparent is how pain is the same as beauty. The tears want to cry when there's separation. All of me wants to cry. At separation. And at the same time that I'm crying, the whole fabric of reality is me. So separation and that fabric are the same. The breath and source of the breath, the beginning of every heartbeat, is what comes up when I can't hear the people speak. It's like, it's not quite the right words. When people are speaking, I'm aware of the subjective experience of separation, shutting all of the senses, and also being aware is when there is the most connection. There's just a lot of pain. It's like a lot of pain in creation. And yet there's no differentiation between Bill Gates or vaccine or golden age human. When each one speaks, there is an experience of being them. Golden age human spoke, I felt this towering goldenness. above, and when Bill Gates spoke, I felt the holding of Bill Gates here. It's like honoring the reality that we are one, and also honoring the experience within him of separation. What continues to come back in between the people is there is no breath, there is breath, there is no heartbeat, birth of heartbeat, breathless, non-movement. Stopping and moving. There is nothing outside of the fabric.
Can I say that again?
There is nothing outside of the fabric. And the space is the fabric. And pain. Pain is the contraction. Pain is the contraction back to not moving. Breath is the expansion out of pain. Or from pain. Breath is the expansion from pain. Really hot, sweaty.
We're coming to our time, and I'm feeling drawn to invite you to come in closer. To take one step. And for each to tune in, it feels constellation, every part belongs, finds its place in the system. I'm seeing a lot of, there's some receptivity and some reactivity here. I'd like to do one round of sort of final orientation. See if what has shifted.
So my main thing to put into the field is this real clarity that we are all in this together. Now it's really coming through even before, I mean it's from 8, but before 8 vocalized that.
Can you say it again? We are all in this together.
We are all in this together. And that absolutely includes the individual beings, Bill Gates, the microbiomes, the COVIDs, the intergalactics, like.
Yeah. Just say it again. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together. This kind of brother sisterhood. It's just like, hey guys, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We're not separate. We're not.
Yeah. And how about COVID? What's happening there for you?
I just got an overwhelming sense of being sorry. Repeating, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. still the sense of not being welcomed, except for 7 just now saying we're all part of this. That made me feel better. That made me feel better.
Can you say, I also have a place?
I also have a place.
And then see if you can size yourself to your rightful place. Like get a sense of how big you are, how small you are, and or what your rightful place is in the fabric of everything having a place. And then we're going to go to, and you can just feel your way into that and find that. We're going to go to whatever's happening in the original role of the vaccination. And you know there's been some evolution there. So let's hear what's happening for you.
Yeah, I'm feeling the ecstasy of being unified with 8. I had a desire for 8 to move me, and then I realized, oh, I feel separate from 8. And then when I realized that, I now am experiencing more movement, unified movement, and there was kind of a emanation outwards, but really from the chest and the front. I don't know if I'm a homeopathic vaccine anymore. I just feel integrated into the web like just light, like pathways of light. And
that your role, I think, has morphed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So just keep being that pathways of light, network of light. And let's hear from the one repping Bill Gates.
Well, let's see. A while back, I was not happy with the way that Golden Age Human received me. And then someone else said something condescending about me too, humanity. And I noticed that I didn't feel welcomed by them, but instead of collapsing, I just reached for something to comfort myself with, which feels like growth. And I was grateful to hear 8. Every time 8 acknowledged the separation and the pain of the separation, I felt so relieved. Like that is so crucial for me to have known and grieved. And the fact that they wanted to hold me and include me felt meaningful. I still am not sure what my place is, but I'm actually willing for 8 to show me where my place is. I don't feel like I need to know, and like I can't. I'm so obviously out of my depth that I am willing to be shown where to be here, but I feel entitled to be here now in a way that I didn't before. Like I have some sense of security and freedom to exist. And I was really feeling for the virus, and I am relieved as fuck that they got some inclusion as well.
Let's hear from humanity. And you're in.
So it feels like before 8 began to speak, there was already an experience. It was like the movement that I was expressing was an inner movement, and it felt like a DNA spiral of information, like going up through the center, like the core of the body, up through the central channel, and it just got kind of deeper and more golden as 8 spoke. And even though 8 was speaking to some of what 8 was sharing could be seen as quite challenging, I guess, but it just felt really, really beautiful, and it continues to feel really, really beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to hear now from Golden Age Human, and then
Is there a word for number 8?
no, not in the one.
So what it seemed like, well, I was having my experience throughout the thing. When everyone said something to me, it was like I was never listened to, really. And then once 7 was like a bridge to feeling like there was engagement, or we were connected. And then once I saw 8, then I felt, oh, I want to be here, and I get it, and I'm alive, and I felt my whole body feel human. And the biggest component was the allowance of emotion, like acknowledging pain, and like really, and breath, and all of those things that that I so wasn't feeling earlier. It was like there wasn't, I don't know, there was some kind of shift that seven brought in mostly, and 1 was so, the relationship with 1 the whole time. I mean, I couldn't really see 1, and wasn't really there, but
what are you noticing right now? How are you at this point?
it's like there's something about the Golden Age human needs, like, 1 has something has to heal in 1, or something. And it feels like the pain, it feels like to truly be able to, the pain has to come along, is what I'm hearing.
So if you could just say the pain is important, the pain is part of it.
The pain is important, the pain is part of it.
Okay. Thank you. And 8, do you want to, be ready to share before we close here?
There's nothing really to say. I just feel like the actuality of the experience that's being given. Oh, something was happening a while ago that feels useful though. After I shared about being, no, after 7 said we're all in this together, I was suddenly focused on form, the importance of the experience of the individual, and knowing my knowing my structure, knowing my space, knowing my physical boundaries, knowing my knowing my importance as an individual piece of the fabric. And the unrepeatable expression of what I am. Within the experience of the whole of what I am.
So I want to invite and anyone in the field who feels sourced enough to do so, to simply put your hands out.
V, can you repeat?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that, V?
To, if you feel sourced to do so, put your hands facing the field.
Oh.
From you as a rep, as your individual expression as a rep, as an acknowledgement of your presence in the field and your place in the field, as well as sourcing something that might be an impulse towards healing. Your sort of final expression without words, and letting whatever that is to come through, and to trust that it can find its place in this. And when you're ready, we're going to bring this to a close over time and invite you to bring your hands together and just a brief bow of honoring and gratitude. And invite us all here to say thank you for the honor. And I leave it with you, and you can almost raise your hands to Divine Source, God, Goddess. Thank you for the honor. I leave it with you, the great mystery.
Thank you for the honor. I leave it with you.
It's mine, it's mine. What's yours is yours. And one last, with the same love that I took it, I give it back. I'd like to invite us all to release fully the roles we've been in. And so if you could say your name out loud 3 times.
I am Peapod, I am Peapod, I am Peapod. Whoa.
Hi, Peapod.
Hi.
Hi, Peapod.
Hi.
I see you.
And, let's all also just do a tapping on our head. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to tell you. You look like Kiss Mask. Tapping your head. Tapping.
This is my head. This is my face.
Tapping the heart.
These are my ears. This is my
armpits.
Ow.
And a nice big
Wow, that was a journey. I feel like
It's my nervous system. Mine.
Oh,
big journey, y'all. Yeah. Wow. I just invite and encourage us to be with the unknown. And thanks for the patience and the perseverance and the presence and the trust and the leaning in. What a trip.
Trip.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Really appreciate y'all.
Does anyone here need any further support that you can tell right now? Or if you do later, I'll just say I'm available by text or you PM me. And I can help pat you down.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful.
Peapod. Super here for you. Encourage if you need it. Any kind of smudging, a little bit of smoking of herbs, plants might. I mean, smudging. If and when you are to do any other smoking of herbs, just really call in some self, like really call yourself back to you fully. Make sure you're grounded.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a journey that was. Ooh. And we can share more on the thread. Sometimes it happens afterwards that more comes through. So we can use that space to share more if you'd like.
Yes. I need to sign off. So
Yeah. All right, sweet loves, we're going to close it up here.
Thank
ciao.
you so much.
Farewell.
So profound. Thank you.